Alright, so for my 10-minute instructional video, I decided I'll take you through the three major lifts in any lifting program, and that's the bench, the squat, and the clean. First one we're going to go to is bench. And I'm going to show you how I do it first, and then I'll take you through some technique cues on what you should do when you're benching. So that's pretty much what a set of bench is going to look like when you're doing it the correct way. One of the first technique cues of bench is to always be laying flat on the bench. You don't want to have your head up, because if you have your head up, then you're putting a lot of pressure on your neck, and that's bad for you. When it comes to hand placement, there's these little notches on the bench right here, and that's where you put your fingers. They're on both sides. What I like to do is take my pinky, put it there, and then wrap my hand around the bar. That's how you know it's even, and that's how you know you're ready to start. Once you get under the bench, a lot of people say to go to 90 degrees with your elbows, but for the majority of people, I like to touch my chest because it gives you a more full range of motion. So take it off the bench, touch the chest, bring it back up and rack it, and then usually with weightlifting, you're going to want to have a spotter. So what the spotter's going to do is stand behind you and give you a lift off. That way they make sure you don't drop it on yourself, and that way they stay with you on all your reps. That is the bench press. The next lift that I'm going to take you through is the back squat, which is going to work basically all your legs, and it's one of the most major lifts in any weightlifting program. First, I'll take you through and show you how I do it, and then I'll go through the technique cues again. So that is pretty much what a proper back squat is going to look like. Basically, on the back squat, the first thing that you're going to do is go from the ground up. What you want with your feet is you want your feet about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit more if you want a wide stance, and you want your feet pointing straight forward. You don't want them cocked out like this or anything like that, or in like this. People have a tendency to go out like this when they have heavier weight. But you always want your feet straight forward like that. Next is your hand placement. What you do with hand placement on the squat is you look for the notches that you saw earlier on the bench press, and I like to wrap right where my pinky is at, wrap that around the bar. Then you find the soft part of the bar where it's no longer rigid anymore. So it's rigid here and then soft here. The soft part right here is for your neck, so that it's not pressing too hard on your neck. Once you do that, you want to line yourself up so that your neck is right in the middle of this bar. Once you're underneath the squat rack and you have it all prepared and ready to go and your feet are in order, you want to go down to 90 degrees parallel. So you want to be right about here. That way you get a full range of motion in your squat. And then coming up from the squat, you always want to have your head up and your chest up, because that prevents injury in the squat. So once you get to 90 degrees, you lift your head up and keep your chest up, and then you come up and then lock your legs and then rack it. And when going with a lot of weight, again, you should always have a spotter. That is the back squat. So the final lift I'm going to be taking you through is the clean, and this is an incredibly important lift because basically it's a full body lift. You're going to be using your legs and your upper body to do the clean. I'll take you through how I do the clean, and then I'll once again go over the technique of the clean. So that was the power clean. And during power clean, first thing you're going to do is address the bar. So like the back squat, you're going to have your feet about shoulder width apart again. Maybe a little bit more if that's what you feel comfortable with. And you always want your feet pointing straight forward. When holding onto the bar, you look at those little notches that you saw on the bench and the squat, but instead of coming this far out like you do on bench and squat, what I do is I measure it with my thumbs. So I found the ridge on the bar, I measure it with my thumbs, then come in that far. That's how you know it's going to be even. First, you're going to pick the bar up, and then gently place it on the ground, and that's when you come up through the power clean, and you do the catch, and then the squat up. That's one rep of power clean, and remember when you're coming through here, you're getting all your power from your legs. So you come up with your legs, and once you get it to this point, that's when you pop the feet, and you hear that noise, and that's how you know to catch it, and that gives you a lot of power. That's basically all you need to know about the power clean. So now that I've taken you through your 3 major lifts, it's time to do a cool down. And instead of just doing like a regular stretch for a cool down, we're going to do things that are also going to benefit you in your lifts. So the first thing I'm going to take you through to cool down is just a basic lunge. And with lunges, you can either do them with weight or without weight. Just for now, for the sake of technique, basically I'm going to do it without weight. And in a lunge, you're basically going to do maybe 10 reps because you're not doing it with weight, so it's just a way to stretch out. You're going to be opposite hand and leg. You're going to drive the knee up, take a nice big step out, and then come down, just like you're running. Then come back with the other one. Do it here. And do maybe 5 reps of that. And that'll give you a really good stretch in your legs and help you maybe take away a little bit of the soreness from doing these heavy lifts. That's basically a good way to stretch by doing lunges. So the final stretch I'm going to take you through is a nice way to stretch out your pecs and also get a good lift while doing it. And that's by doing the pec fly, because we did the lunges and that kind of stretched out our legs, but that doesn't help us with our upper body at all. So what I'm going to take you through now is the pec fly. And you know, you can do it with a heavy weight if you're trying to gain a lot of strength, but when you're trying to get a good stretch, you just go low weight and high reps, like maybe 10 reps or so. That'll give you a good stretch. On the pec fly, I chose to do 20s, and you're going to sit down flat on the bench. You're going to lay back flat on the bench with your head down, and then bring the weight up into the air and go just side nice and slow. Bring it about as far as you can, about parallel like this, and then bring it right back up, nice and slow. Make sure to feel the stretch in your chest. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to do 5 reps, but usually you're going to want to do a few more. Bring it back down. And then maybe do 3 sets of that, and that'll give you a good stretch in your pecs, and that way you eliminate some of the soreness from doing a heavy bench day or something like that. And that's just a good way to stretch out, and that's the pec fly.